All right, so let's get into more unsubstantiated rumors. There's some rumors out there that the
Who
49ers
started this?
I don't know. I've heard
Grant?
it. I've seen it. I've seen it that maybe the 49ers may be open into trading George Kittle. Obviously, I think with Mike McDaniel leaving, the tight end coach leaving, stuff like that. George Kittle, I know, is pretty high on him. So maybe people are trying to start some smoke out of like absolutely nothing. But with all of those guys going to Miami, are you just shutting this rumor down? It's not true. I'm assuming by the look on your face, nothing of this is real.
I don't even have the sources enough to be going like that. And I can already tell you that's not happening. Come on, dude. I think where this started from was Grant freaking Cohen last Sunday about when he wrote an article about the 5 players the 49ers could/should. He said one of those 2 words. Should. I'm pretty sure he said could. Trade. He might have mentioned Kittle on there. And that's when he had on his Cone phone. Right before I was going to the Pro Bowl, I hopped on his Cone phone for like almost 10 minutes. And I was like, just saying like, Grant, shut up. What are you talking about, dude? What are we talking about here about trading Kittle? And he points to his targets, and it's like, how can we slander the quarterback so much and blame him for his receptions? The targets were still kind of there. He fell off after the Cincinnati game where he exploded. Like after that, he didn't really have a big game or anything. But let's not act like he's your typical tight end that doesn't block like half the time and block at an elite level. All right, so is he kind of a little bit flawed as a receiver compared to like the other players like Kelsey, Andrews, and Waller? Sure, but he's still a damn good receiver, and he's a phenomenal blocker because none of those tight ends are doing anywhere close to what he's doing, and that's why they signed him, because they love what he does with their system. That's why they signed. That's why you won't see anyone else outbid the 49ers for Kyle Juszczyk, because they're the only ones that use Kyle Juszczyk, a fullback, in that system. So it works out. Trading him is asinine. It's crazy.
That's why we bring you on here, Jose. You bring sanity to a world full of crazies, right? So
that's part why I hate the offseason, Sanel. God damn it. I hate the offseason.
But I when I saw that, because I saw multiple tweets of people saying, multiple first round picks, stuff like that. Like that. Maybe it started from a Grant Cohn article. It wouldn't be the first time that rumors have started from a Grant Cohn piece or whatever it is. That's why he is the GOAT and gets paid the money that he's getting paid to do what he does. But maybe I'm glad to hear that there's probably no truth to this. But I do want to get your take, because you did touch on something that I've questioned before, is the way that George Kittle is utilized. Now, obviously, he's a huge part of the run game for the 49ers as far as his blocking prowess. He loves it. He enjoys it more than I think some of the other superstar tight ends in the league. However, when you just put up his raw numbers as far as catches, yards, and touchdowns, obviously he's in the upper echelon of tight ends with those numbers. But he doesn't, other than that 1 year he had, I believe, 2018 or something like that. Those Kelsey-like numbers, Waller-like numbers, like you mentioned, Andrews-type numbers, he doesn't really get that. Now, obviously, Trey Lance, hopefully being the week 1 starter, is it just a product of the quarterback that was there? Because it seems like Jimmy did like throwing the ball to Kittle, or is this X's and O thing that maybe Shanahan doesn't utilize Kittle as much as some of these other offensive coordinators are using their superstar tight ends?
Yeah, I think Kyle Shanahan takes a little bit of blame for sure, but I'm just going to more so circle back, and this will get confirmed with when Lance is the quarterback next year for sure. But I'm still going to blame Garoppolo, because how I see it, let's say Ayuk doesn't have still as good numbers as he's been in the second half season. Say it's like he's not getting enough yards or catches or touchdowns. What's this guy's problem? It's like, then you look at the actual clips, and it's like, he's wide open. Jimmy's not throwing the ball. So is that Ayuk's fault? So what if Kittle's in that situation, which he actually is a selective times? It's like, all right, Jimmy's not hitting him when he's supposed to hit him. And when he does,
there's definitely moments where he has attempted to throw it to Kittle, and it's been a hospital ball, or it's like picked, or it's like
in the Green Bay game.
Off. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, to me, it's like, let's just wait until we see Lance actually get out there. Then all of a sudden, if there still is an issue, then like, okay, now we can see it might be him. It might be Shanahan usage, because ultimately, if Shanahan wants a player to get the ball, he can get them the ball. He can scheme him. That's his job. So he gets paid the big bucks. He needs to figure it out. But I would say, and you mentioned 2018, like, yeah, he had those big numbers, but the Niners are always losing all the time. So you had no choice but to throw the ball. Shanahan couldn't do what he wanted with running it. And it's also like the same to me. Another aspect to look at is like, we talk about how the Niners' greatest strength is the running game. Even with Lance, Lance can be a great passer. I still think their best trait is going to be the running game and something that they should commit to. So if we say that, and some people want to say pound the ball, pound the rock, and then still go the other way and like complain about Kittle's receptions, then you realize you can only get so many looks between him, Debo, Ayuk, and now Jennings. So I mean, what are we doing here at that point?
So what would you think would be ideal for a person like Kittle? Because the one thing about it, Jose, the type of brand of football that Kittle plays, I don't think he's going to have one of these long careers of being elite. Right, just because his body eventually is going to break down because of the type of pounding he takes, not only blocking, but even when he runs, he's looking for contact. He's looking to, carry 3 or 4 people on his back while he's trying to get that extra yard. So it'd be naive of us to think that he's going to be able to be this good for the next, like another 5, 6, 7 years. Right. So what would be I guess the ideal usage to maximize everything you can get from a talent like George Kittle? What would you like to see him do more of, or do you think they're utilizing him perfectly right now?
I want to say perfectly, because you could always use someone a little better, more cases than not. Probably red zone, at least red zone, because you pay him all that money, he should be able to run some routes, get open, and find nice spots in the end zone and get you scores. Because if you're paying him all those big bucks, I don't care about the yards. If he's doing great blocking, then I'll give him partial credit for why Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel are getting those yards. So if you're in the red zone more, make him more of a red zone target and get him those looks, because he is a big body. He does have decent route running and could be able to shake his defender, could be able to find those zones. Or even then, you don't need him to do all that, because you have Shanahan, who should be able to get the defense to flow one way and then open up Kittle the other way. So I think that'd be like the number one thing, is finding him more in the red zone, because you get paid the big bucks for scoring. Yards, I think, are pretty overrated as much as I've been covering more the last 2-3 years. Like, yards are great, and they do factor into you getting to the position. But I mean, ultimately, in his case, since he makes it up with being a great blocker, opening up lanes, sometimes even pass protecting, then I think we could just say, I'll screw the yards. Can he score touchdowns? So that's why you look for in red zone plays, or maybe even some big play abilities like we saw in 2019, like when Kyle let Jimmy take that shot to Kittle on the Sunday night game against Green Bay when he was wide open. Right. So maybe see some of those. I feel like we didn't see too much of kind of those plays this year with Jimmy, and I think it's because they kind of got away with under center, because you can't play under center, especially when he has the back turn. But ultimately, I think that'd be the first thing for sure, red zone.
Yeah. Silverado Kev has a take. As great as the run game has been and can be, you still need a QB1 that could be a threat and give teams fits and don't miss layups. See where I'm going with this. Shots fired at Jimmy without shots fired at Jimmy.